This pandemic has changed our lives in a lot of ways. Now, if you're an introvert, staying inside and away from people can feel kind of like... But if you're an extrovert, like I am, it feels more like... Help! So I've been spending a lot of time trying to figure out what to do with my time. I've upped my thrifting, crafting, Dollar Tree-ing, but what I haven't done is up my income. There are a ton of these furniture flipping videos on YouTube, so I decided to give it a try. Let's find out how. Welcome to the How Files, where creative folks like us come to laugh and learn. I am Jen, the great Howdini. Huh? I've looked through the files, and today we are going to flip it. This episode is going to focus on one project. I'm going to take a chair I found at my local Goodwill, and I am going to flip it for a profit. I'll go through all the products I used, list the price for everything, and hopefully, by the end, we'll end up with more money than we spent. But I am going to stop flapping my gums and start flipping this chair. When you're refinishing furniture, especially for sale, the key is in making sure you prep everything properly. When you buy something from a thrift store, there's a lot of dirt and grime and grease, and you have to get all of that off if you want your paint to stick and not scratch super easy. So as you see here, I'm cleaning everything really, really well with a degreaser, with a sponge, scrubbing everything down, and making sure that I have all of that gunk off. When you're finished with that, you want to sand the piece. Now, if you're going to cover this entire thing with paint, there's no need to sand it completely down to the raw wood. Just make sure you scuff up any edges. You want to give it what they call a scuff sand so that your paint has something to adhere to. And then you'll see that I'm using my primer here. I'm using this Zinsser primer that's shellac based, and that's really great for wood products that you're going to put paint on top of. It'll stop any bleed through from happening with any stains that might be on the wood. As you can see, I'm using one of these handy dandy spray can nozzle gun toppers. I'll link it below. They're fantastic, and it's the only way that I spray paint. You want to go in short, even bursts across your piece. It's the way to stop from getting drips when you're using spray paint. And then in between coats, you want to go in with a 220 grit sandpaper and do what they call denibbing, which is basically getting all of the rough spots off, any dust that might land in the paint while it's drying. So make sure you do that between coats to get the even, beautiful finish that you'd like. Okay, now we go for the painting. Again, you can see that I am using my spray nozzle attachment, and I'm making sure that I get the bottom of the piece and that I let that dry completely before I flip it over to get the top of the piece. I'm using this Rust-Oleum in, I'll have to get the exact color for you, but I'll show a shot of it right here. It turned out really, really pretty. And I'm using the Ultimate Matte. Now, if you're used to using chalk paint, I have found that this spray paint, even in matte finishes, does not give you that sort of super, super matte finish like a chalk paint does. So just be aware of that. With this chair and with all the caning on the back, I just figured it would be a lot easier for me to spray the piece than it would be to paint it. I always prefer to spray pieces if I can, but that's just my jam. Again, you want to go in with 220 grit in between, and you want to make sure that you denib all of the paint in between coats so you have a nice smooth finish. You'll want to do that again before you put on your sealer coat, And I'll show you the sealer that I'm using here. Again, I'm gonna link all of this stuff in the description below, so check down there. And I didn't mention it earlier, but I also used this metallic spray paint to paint the little details that were at the top of the chair. It's such a cool little detail that came with this chair, so I wanted to make sure that I spruced that up as well. Now, when I'm refinishing furniture that is upholstered, I see a lot of times people just cover up what's currently there, and that's okay, but I'm gonna be selling this piece, so I wanna make sure that I take all of this off. You'll see all of this old, gunky cushioning and batting, and replace it with all brand new, fresh padding and batting. And I'm showing you here what I used, and then I'll also link options below. This seems like something that's super intimidating for people if they've never done it before. I am by no means an expert at it, but it's just something if you just get in there and try it. You're only using staples.
Stolen my heart from inside you.
You know, you can see here, I did my corners 3 or 4 times to really get them the way that I wanted them. And I still have to do some corner practicing. Let me know in the comments if you have any handy ideas or tips or tricks on how to get the perfect upholstered corner. Once your paint and your sealer coat have dried really, really well, then it's time to assemble your chair, as you can see here. It's really easy. Typically, a lot of upholstered items, they just have like 4 screws, especially chairs, that go through the frame on the bottom into the cushion. So flip it over, screw them back on, and let's get ready to list. Now, one of the big things that you need to make sure you do is stage your item. This is really, really important. You have to show people that are gonna buy your piece of furniture or whatever it is that you're selling, how it looks in, I guess it's a natural environment, right? So it's a piece of furniture, so let's stage it like a piece of furniture. Put it in a really lovely area with really good light. Put some of your other DIY things around it so that it looks really nice and really pretty. You'd be amazed at how much more you can get for a piece if you stage it properly. Now, Facebook Marketplace. I've never used Facebook Marketplace before this, so I actually didn't really know what to expect. I made sure that I took some really good photos from all different angles. You can put up to 10 photos in there, so make sure that you use them. Get really great faraway pieces and then up close, any angles that you can show. Also, if your chair or your piece of furniture, whatever you're selling, has any damage, you really want to make sure that you put that in the listing. Do close-ups of it so that people know what to expect. You save yourself a lot of hassle from people coming to look at a piece and then deciding they don't want to buy it because they didn't see any damage beforehand. So, here we go. You open up your Facebook app or on your computer. You click on the Marketplace icon at the top. At the top of Marketplace, you can choose to search for items or you can choose the selling button. So click on the selling button and it takes you to a page where at the top you can create a new listing, and go ahead and click on that. Then it's going to ask you with a drop-down menu what it is that you're selling, and choose items. And then here's where you add your photos. You want to add your cover photo first and then add all of your additional photos. Now you want to give it a snappy title because there's a lot of stuff out there, so you want to make sure people are actually looking at yours. And then pick your price. Take some time to kind of look through other listings that are similar to yours, so you're making sure you're not pricing yourself either way too low or way too high. You want to make sure that the price that you add makes sense, or you're just going to keep going back and adjusting. Or you may leave a lot of money on the table because you price something way too low. Choose the category that you'd like your item to go in, and then do a great description. Really describe, like on mine, I talked about how it was finished with the beautiful dark gray paint and, a really luxurious mustard yellow. Oh, let me throw this in here. I did this chair in these colors based on Pantone's colors of the year, and I'll throw that up right here. They're beautiful, and I'm loving all things gray and yellow right now. Then make sure you add tags, because a lot of people search for antique or cane or straight back chair, armless chair, things like that, that if you were looking for an item, how would you search for it, and add those tags, and then you just list it. It was super easy, super self-explanatory. Like I said, I never did this before, and it really literally only took me like 5 minutes. Okay, let's go through the numbers. The chair cost me $7.79 plus tax, so let's just call it like $8.50. The gray spray paint, I used a can and a half, and it was $3.96 a can, so let's just round that up to $6. The remaining paint, we've got the primer and the sealer, as well as the fabric for the cushion. Those things already lived in my stash, so I'm gonna call that free because I had them already. So I put this chair together for less than $15. And looking at the comparable items, all things cane are having a moment. So I'm gonna list my chair at $120, which would give me a profit of $105 if and when it sells. So not too bad for something I love to do anyway. And if it doesn't sell, I have a great chair for my house that cost me $15. One thing I forgot to say, there are a lot of buy-sell groups on Facebook, so try to join ones that are in your area, because you can list your item in multiple places and that can help. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell and all those things down here, and I will notify you guys as soon as I hear whether or not my chair is going to sell. I'll leave it up for a couple of days. If I don't get any bites, then I will lower the price a little bit. As long as I sell it for anything over $15, I feel like it is a win for me. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Jen. This has been the How Files. And remember, be creative, be bold, and know that you are amazing.